Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds, I'm Nerdicus Dave. Today I'm joined by Cody and Kaitlin from Random Encounters Productions. How you fine folks doing today?
We are doing well.
Yeah, doing great. Happy to be here.
So I had discovered Kaitlin on TikTok, where I've been finding like this huge D&D community of people doing cool things, and you had mentioned that you guys are going to be running a PvP D&D kind of show.
Mhm.
So if real quick, if each one of you want to introduce yourself and then kind of give the elevator pitch of what you guys do, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cody, you want to start?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Cody Stone. I'm the head GM over at Random Encounter Productions. So I'm usually running most of the shows. We do a ton of RPG stuff, and we've been branching into some other video game things. And we're about to launch our inaugural PvP season, which is a ton of fun. And I just hit the table so the camera had an earthquake. um, so yeah, that's a short version. Kaitlin.
I am Kaitlin. I am a fantasy author, a audiobook narrator, a theme park actor, and an all-around nerd. Helped Cody launch this channel 3 years ago and do everything from behind-the-scenes tech, chat-based things to playing on the shows whenever I get a chance. Way too often. I would rather be here than doing anything else usually. And if you talk to any of us on social media, you're probably talking to me. So hi everyone who's met me on Twitter and in the chat and wherever.
As always, folks, there are links down in the description, so click away and go check out all the places. So, how did PvP D&D come about? What made you decide to do that? Because usually, I feel like as GMs, we try and avoid this. This is like the
Oh,
worst case scenario. Something has gone horribly wrong.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No. I've had PvP in like real campaigns, and I've been like,
Mm-hmm.
no, cut that shit out.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it
You stop it
destroys real
immediately.
friendships.
It does. Oh yeah, it can really be rough. But we did so it started in our first year. We did X Crawl. If anybody doesn't know, it's a old 3.5 sort of module, and it's dungeon crawling as a full contact sport. It's Goodman Games, I think, published it, or was the most recent publisher of it. So we did that. The audience loved it. They loved having like a Hunger Games ability to like airdrop in magic items or to revive a monster and throw it at the players.
Oh, and they did. They got
Oh,
creative. They were like,
yeah.
"Can I airdrop potions to the other team?" Can I was like,
Yes.
"Evil, but sure."
They loved that part of it. And then 2 years ago, we did a international tabletop day event, which was at a local game store. And I sat down with a bunch of players, and we're like, okay, we want to do something competitive, right? PvP is the natural thing, but we don't want people just hammering away at each other. So let's do kind of a MOBA thing. Let's give some other objectives. Let's put some other scoring opportunities, right? So that PvP happens, but it is not the main focus. So we did
Well, and the
like
most popular one for that was here's big monster in the middle of
yeah,
the room, whichever team gets the most points on it. Like it changed the strategy to, well, I could hit the monster or I could knock out the other team so I have more chances to hit the monster.
yeah, or
Very,
or just slowing them down. And it
yeah.
created some real strategy moments for
Mhm.
that. So again, this year for our 30-year anniversary, we developed a map, and PvP is definitely a part of it, but we integrated all of those side events, and we put in some rules to make sure that things aren't always counterspelled, or that hold person and sleep aren't the first round of every
Mhm.
of every game, right? So we've developed a full rule set to really encourage a competitive sports like nature.
Competitive, but again, good sportsmanship. The whole
Yeah.
concept being it is dishonorable and there's no glory in just putting your opponent to sleep and walking all over them. This
Well,
is gladiatorial arena.
yeah,
Have a
it
little bit
is.
of respect for the sport.
It is a show both in the kayfabe, in the fiction of the universe,
Mhm.
and to our audience, right? And it's like, well, like controlling your opponent is the core of warfare. Like, yeah, you're not doing warfare, dude. You're in an arena. Like you
Mhm.
can see the audience. It's not like they want a show.
Yeah.
Your
Well,
job
with
here
the
is to
Hunger
put on
Games,
a show.
I mean, the Hunger Games comparison constantly comes up with this
Yeah.
is like Hunger Games meets wrestling. And remember, in the fantasy of Hunger Games, if the opponents stayed apart from each other for too long, the game masters would push them together. We know conceptually that they want to see it close. So we've got, I mean, they're timed matches.
Mm-hmm.
If they spend the entire time just hiding in corners from each other, they're going to waste a lot of time. There's only so many rounds you can get out in that amount of time. And so it very quickly became, all right, let's just get in there, start wailing on each other and the chests and the traps and the monster. Let's go. Which was fun to watch.
I mean, yeah, obviously certain things, aspects are just not exciting. So it only makes sense to cut them out. Actually, when the first year that I did D&D in a castle, and I was a player, two of the GMs decided to do a Contest of Champions style session where they brought both of their tables together to do that. And, you know, the arena started out enormous and they're like, oh, this was a mistake.
We are far too far apart.
Yeah. So they would shrink it. They would shrink it every round in order to make it a little more intimate and have more action going on. But then also, like at the end of every round, this like beholder disco ball would drop from the ceiling and, you know, do an effect and usually dispel any magics that were going on. You know, because like, for instance, in one of the rounds, the mage, our wizard, put a wall of force around the other party's barbarians.
Yeah.
So,
no.
so they're like whacking away at each other to try and keep their rages going.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I love that. Can I just address Beholder Disco Ball? Because I want one now. I just
yeah.
Like we need one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the GMs were James Intercasso and GM Tim, both of which are awesome people and GMs to play with. And there was an imp announcer as well, NPC'd by GM Tim, who did a fabulous job with that. So
amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And so I was part of James's table, and I had made like a totally specced out halfling battle master using like a crossbow or something.
Yeah.
Some kind of ranged weapon.
Yeah.
And he just looked to the other team. He's like, I'm so sorry. Because like one of the first things I did is blow all of my battle master dice to push barbarians away from us.
Yes.
And action surge. But yeah, you know, it's a lot of fun to do that every once in a while. I think it's all about expectation, right? Like, what did you come here to do?
Yeah.
Right. And people going into this. So this is definitely going to be our regulated league, right? This is the one that is most sports like. It has the most stringent rules. There is a gold gathering system because we do have those Hunger Games donations. They're not just an immediate impact on the match, but it also translates into gold pieces for the party for the whole season. Right. So there's a lot of motivation.
Some parties who already have like donors in real life who are donating to the team in game to like sponsors and everything. So the gold absolutely has shifted and been interesting, but you're right. It's regulated in this league.
Right.
But
but other people have, you know, they expressed an interest in doing like a 1-day tournament of like a breaker tournament where it's like, all right, I'm taking all the rules off. You guys can do all of that weird shit I kept saying no to. Here's your opportunity.
Counterspell.
Yeah, we'll play counterspell for 3 hours and we can do that once once a week maybe, but that's what I got.
Yep.
But the fiction of the world is really coming along, and I'm excited to do a little more of like a kayfabe. I say kayfabe, I'm a wrestling fan.
It's very specific reference.
Yeah, I apologize. The fiction of the world, do not like a scripted season, but do a season that is less fair and a little more campaign like. So there would be more NPC bad guys and influences and politics of the world and all of those sorts of things, because luckily we've done a great job picking players, and I'd say 99% of them have been like, all right, but what world am I in? Because I got to get some role play in here. I'm not here to just chuck dice. I'm here to be awesome. And
I need you to know about the tragic backstory of and why this tiny gladiator needs to win and protect his family. I'm like, I'm here for it. Give that to us. Here's the framework.
Do it.
Go. Well, and because of that, Cody actually wrote in there's multiple ways you can win gold, be rewarded for the matches, put that gold towards your team's advancement and getting new magic items and upgrading your equipment and all those things. But he added in a roleplay element. He added in the best roleplay moment of the night gets a bonus gold, essentially, to encourage that. Okay, but why? Because so many people want to have the roleplay. You don't have to. You can win without it, but it'll be interesting to see if that bonus gold pushes someone over the edge into buying that legendary weapon they want next week. You're
making it a good show and a good game, right? We've all been at a table in a campaign where that one role player that just sort of drags everybody forward a little bit and encourages people just by being there and being excited to do their character. Other people are like, I think I have
to
voice. I don't know what it is, but I will find it. Yeah, and you're like, yeah, man, come on, join us.
I've been in that position of like, oh, I didn't know what to. Okay, now by session 4, I'm like, oh great, I've got a voice now and I've got a character and I'm ready to go. Like, and I love, so we're giving those people who are those types of players the opportunity to elevate their team, and like, yes,
because it elevates the experience.
Yeah,
it's something else you've seen in legitimate sports, right? It's the teams, the whole sports news system is built around those larger than life personalities. You know what I mean? Whether or not they're the best player on the field or on the court, you're gonna follow people that are outlandish and outspoken and generate a buzz about the games that they are in. And as we've discovered, people will donate not just to see a team win, but plenty of times to see
a team lose,
a specific player lose.
We had actually, that is how the final rule set here got made, because as we mentioned, we did X-Crawl first, and then we did our MOBA variant. We've been tweaking our own PvP system for 3 years. Finally, back in April, we were running this test. We had, here's what you can donate to affect the game. It's this for Longstrider, which is everyone's favorite thing to donate because it got you into the middle of the action immediately. This for a crowd favorite, this, like, all these things. And then our audience ran out of things to donate to people. And they're in the chat and Twitch, and they went, can we donate to the arena? And we're like, what? Said, yeah, there's an arena guardian. Cody's running. Can we give it a legendary weapon? I was like, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to allow it. So I'm teching and I'm messaging Cody. I'm like, hey, by the way, someone has given a legendary weapon to the guardian. He goes, what? Okay.
Okay.
And it became, after that, player versus arena, versus the audience, of them being like, can I donate to heal somebody? Yes, you can. Can I donate to heal the guardian? Yes, you can. Can I donate to revive the guardian? Yes, sure. And we found this, we finally settled into this. Okay, these are overpowered. We're not allowing this. These are great. Fantastic. Let's go. And we let the audience during that April test run build what we ended up allowing or disallowing as far as helping or hurting the teams. So it'll be very interesting to watch. Okay, your character is very overpowered, but a jerk about it. So people are going to donate to kill you. Cool. Have fun.
I love the fact that during the test run, it was like, if you got the cash,
yeah,
you can donate it. We'll do it.
Well,
they helped write that rule book, essentially, at the end of all this.
It was very much just some of the purest GMing moments I've had of like, can I do this? Yeah. I don't know how. We're going to figure it out. Let's do it.
Best unanticipated donation.
Yes. So we allowed during the test run, for me at least, Cody may have a different answer, but for me, we allowed during the test run, we had a game, essentially, and any people could pay between games to influence the start of the next game. So by day, even if they didn't know who the teams were. So day 3 of this 3-day run, Frog Party, if you're watching, stop messaging the Discord. It's blowing up and it's loud. I know they're watching the chat. You all need to stop posting in there. I can't mute it right now, and they're just hearing this bing from one of my teams. Stop. Give it 10 minutes. We had one team that played twice. It was our rep team, our home team, essentially, Megan and Matthew, who were built the channel with us. And boy, there was some smack talk happening. Mm-hmm. So our third night rolls around, and they were also our closing match. They were opening and a closing match, and the team they were going up against had been donating all weekend just to help and hurt, just to have fun. But we started that match with their opposing team having donated in the downtime everything they could possibly donate. They came in suddenly with this big, here, have several $100s of stuff. We're giving this legendary weapon to me. It was $100, I think, total.
Sure.
For them. It was this legendary weapon for me, long strider, and it was just for themselves. So they came in overpowered, ready to smash our champion team. And we went, oh, we're just starting off there. We're beginning the game. And it happened right before the game started. It was in the 3 minutes leading up to it. I was like, so this is new. I apologize. Team A is now as beefed up as they can be. And Team B, I hope you can catch up. And it was hilarious because the looks on Megan and Matthew's faces of, excuse you? They're starting with what? Okay. They still won, which was hilarious to everyone involved. But it was very interesting to watch this team who knew they were going up against the champions building themselves up so that they could win and then still not winning. So that for me was, I was not ready for this to happen before the game even began. Oh no. So that was my favorite.
Sometimes you just can't buy greatness.
No, it's
it must be earned.
I'll say the GM moment I screwed up was because we were pulling a bunch of legendary weapons because I was like, I got the weapons out of like White Plume Mountain. I was like, nobody, like who's ever really gonna get to wield these things?
Yeah.
I went to the DMG. I grabbed a bunch of other legendary things, Hammer of Thunderbolts, Staff of the Archmage, and somebody had that, and then they broke the Staff of the Archmage, and I was like,
oops,
crap.
Well, yeah, like literally, if you can't win and you have a Staff of Power or the Archmage or the Magi, why would you not be like, Retributive Strike, we all lose?
Yeah, we're just all going out right now. And I was like, I got to re-roll that on the fly. I'm sorry. And like, good play. You caught me. You caught the tater. You won. But I'm gonna GM this one. And they're like, yeah, we get it.
Yep,
but so there was definitely a moment where I was like, I messed that up bad.
I'm going to start pulling some questions out of the chat. And
please.
Folks, if you have questions, feel free to drop them. Just put a Q or question in front of it to make it easy for us to pull out. So Brian wants to know, my players aren't fond of PvP within the campaign, but how can I set up a PvP session where the PC's fighting doesn't result in the end of the party?
Drugs. in-game hallucinations, where it was a dream is my answer, but I'm wrong.
I think the idea here, if you're going to do it as part of an actual campaign, what I would make sure is that the results and the repercussions of either winning or losing are not devastating on a personal level, right? If you're fighting for an ideal and both options are palatable, right, then having two champions go at it, it's a difficult thing to pull off. But when you're rooting for both sides and the team, the players are, they like both ideas, they don't know which one they want, maybe they're split on that, then the outcome can keep from breaking down a whole party.
You're talking like a Captain America Civil War situation where like half the audience understood, and you were split into Team Cap, Team Iron Man. They came back at the end together. Eventually, they reconciled, but you'd have to make sure that all of the players were okay with it. Is very important, I believe, because that could easily become a players being mad at each other instead of characters being mad at each other.
Yes.
And that's a very careful balance to strike as a performer, as a storyteller, and as a team member.
Yeah.
We regularly have to let each other know out of game. We will message each other and be like, hey, Fable, my character for our disasters game, Fable's mad about this. Kaitlin is not. We're okay. Everything's fine. Communication is going to be your best friend no matter what. However you choose to run that kind of PvP situation, if you do get your characters into that, communicating with them and letting them communicate with each other is going to make or break your party. Honestly.
Also, having some ground rules for PvP really help. You know what I mean? A lot of times party members are not on the same level for like raw combat, either through damage or through being able to bestow status effects. And always having a bigger goal in mind is important, because for the Cap and Iron Man existence, they don't come together without Thanos, right? You have to have a bigger evil.
But they're also not being petty. They're not, they're fighting for something bigger than themselves. They just happen to be the champions who are spearheading those issues. If your PvP is just, you said something bad about my mama, like that you're petty and you shouldn't be fighting amongst yourselves.
Yeah. It's always over loot. I find it's usually over loot or whether or not we torture the prisoner or something like that.
Yeah.
I think drugs and hallucinations dreams are a great way to go, like you said.
You're welcome.
Because like they don't have to really have happened, but you get to kind of experience it. The reverse or the mirror effect always works as well. Instead of fighting yourself, though, you're fighting each other. You can do it that way. If it is an instance where you have two options. If it's an instance where it's not really the other players, but they are fighting the other players.
Alternate reality.
Yeah, like you as the GM can NPC them, and then it's not the players. Or if you have a group that's cool with it, let it happen. Like in a lot of games, like someone will get charmed, right? And I've had players go, well, I have to now defend this bad guy and attack my party. Like, how much do I have to really do that? I'm like, well, it's kind of up to you. How do you feel you would do that if you felt like this is, and personally as a player, like I was always disappointed that our one campaign that went really high, I never got charmed and got to get turned on in the party.
Whereas Cody had one player of ours try to murder her brother and succeed in murdering her brother regularly in our pre-stream home game.
Regularly.
Oh, it happened like 3 times in the same fight. She kept killing him, sobbing, and then we brought him back. We're like, because we couldn't uncharm her. She kept failing the saves.
It was an end campaign against a vampire, and the vampire charmed her. And it was like, there's no out of this. Like you have to get removed. But in other instances, if players aren't cool with it and they get charmed, I do the dice roll. I do like pick an opponent, look to your left, look to your right, give them a number. Yeah. That's who you have to attack. And I know the classes pretty well. So if it's like a paladin and they hit, I'm like, do you want to cast Divine Smite?
Would you cast Divine Smite?
I think you, but would you?
Yeah, I love it when you get a player that leans into it, though, right?
Yeah, it is.
It just so happened I rarely ever run modules, but I happened to run one, and the session before I happened to use a monster that did use suggestion or charm, and I did it to like the specced out Ranger Battle Master. And then he got it again like the very next session because it was just what was in the module. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, so I have to take out my partner, which is the most other specced out character in this game. And it's just like, and they were just like, I do all my attacks, use all my dice, and then I action surge.
Amazing. Yeah, because that's how you would play. If you were charmed into believing that this person was your ally, you would fight as hard as you fight for your actual allies, I feel like. Yeah. And that's always it's always fun.
Well, we also ran some tables at D&D Castle the following year. And we ran 3 tables for Nerdarchy. And then for the final session, we brought all 3 tables together for this like final epic big bad battle. Well, one of my players tried doing something that was like, they knew it was a bad idea, but they wanted to poke the bear anyway. So they ended up getting mind controlled pretty early on by the big bad. And he's just like, I don't want you to do anything until I tell you to. And so in the final battle, like they're like, all right, now take out the wizard. Cause like I was like, oh man, because they were really high level. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of ways this wizard can mess up this game.
Yeah.
But the best part was, like, those 2 players had a problem in the game the night before.
Oh no!
Where the other player was just kind of being a jerk to them and all the other players, and that player was like, "Yes,
it's time!"
Yeah,
I love it.
Kill the wizard. Can
Wizard.
do.
Yeah.
All
Done.
right.
It's not personal, I
I'm
swear.
there.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes it can be a lot of fun, and it still worked out in the end for the good guys. Everyone came out okay, and and the story got resolved. But I love it because it just creates these like cool moments of tension in the game.
Mm-hmm. It can be very cathartic, and it is. There's a ton of tension to it, and you'll see it a lot. It's a classic like comic book genre story trope where your strongest guy on your team goes bad, and you gotta fight him. And there's good drama to be had there, but it has to make sure that it's a character thing. When it gets to be personal is when.
Yeah, that's it. When it has to stay in the game, and like you said, it is cathartic, especially for the GM when you have that one player that makes that one character, and you're like, oh yeah, you guys thought this was funny all campaign, didn't you? You deal with them now.
Yep. Brilliant. Yep. Wonderful.
Now you've got the juggernaut rampaging in the center of your party.
Best way to punish min-maxers is make them fight each other.
So Shallander wants to know favorite wrestling company.
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Yep.
So I do watch WWE. I think when they're good, they are great. I've enjoyed a lot of AEW. I think honestly, probably the best matches I've seen come from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's my non-answer answer. So there's that.
And I'm gonna echo that. Because I only watch wrestling because Cody introduced me to wrestling, and so I forget which one is which. I know who all my favorite players are. I know who all my favorite athletes are. I will watch and understand the matches and be stoked. But if you asked me if there were different wrestling companies, I'd go, what? Interesting. That's cool.
I had another question. And I think Jack has a question too in the chat, and I think they line up pretty well. So like, how often are you doing the PvP? How long are the sessions, and how many matches per session?
Hey-o.
So, do you want me
I got it. So
do.
right now we are for our inaugural season. Maybe I shouldn't be talking. It's an 8-week run, 7 weeks of matches, and then one final finale tournament, which Cody can get into the details about exactly how that is going to work. That I can't. However, we're going to be playing on Fridays and Saturdays. We are streaming for a 6-hour block, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time to midnight 30 a.m. the next day, Fridays and Saturdays. The matches are an hour and a half, 2 40-minute halves, and a 10-minute intermission in between. At the intermission, there's going to be things like you can swap out for your alternate player, because they're 2v2, but there's 3 players on each team for emergencies. Essentially, we don't want anyone to have to forfeit by one of them being sick or getting called into work and not being able to play. So we have thirds for every team to do with like that. They might be able to swap team members out if they need to during that half, but it is essentially going to be 6:30 pre-show, 7 to 8:30 a match, 9 to 10:30 a match, 11 to 12:30 a match. And those half-hour in between times are for me to come on, give Cody a break from running everything. I'm going to do interviews with the teams from those matches, or if other nights, if they want to come in and talk, we're going to talk strategy. We're going to talk to the audience. We're going to ask for favorite moments. We are very, very much sports talk showing this up during those downtimes. So this season, like I said, it's Fridays and Saturdays, June and July. That is
follow up. Yeah. Really important question.
Yeah.
You have a blazer picked out for these interviews? stories?
I have actually, I mean, I have many, but also it has been suggested that I am this world's Effie trinket, so I should just Hunger Games. And so I also have some wigs and some potential cosplays planned.
Oh, nice.
And we have a logo designed. I may just get and wear the merch and just like, but I do have blazers. In fact, I can go full sports night. I can go full sports night and just have a good time. And I might be doing that, honestly. So stay tuned.
Now I need the sports night, but KN sports night.
Yeah, that's fine with me. If I can just Aaron Sorkin this up though, and just be Dana Whitaker, plus Dan and Casey, I'll be all of them.
We don't have the budget for a walk and talk. You got to sit still.
Listen, I can just hold this camera while I go. But we're very excited. We've already had some teams request to come in cosplay as their characters and smack talk each other. We have had people request to come and talk about their strategy. I am going to allow all of those things because I'm excited that they are as excited as we are.
That sounds like a great TikTok crossover.
Oh, it will be. Some of our hey, some of you are in the chat who are on TikTok right now. And you know what you have to go do. Don't be a coward. Go do it. Go be in character right now.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we're excited. But Cody knows the specs of how all of the talent pools and seeds and whatever are working. If you wanted to, because that's what I have to offer as far as timing goes.
Real quick, yeah, we've got 12 teams. We put them into 2 divisions of 6 and then 2 pools of 3. So the top team from every pool is going to make it to the playoffs, along with the best record for both divisions. So it'll be a 6-team playoff. When we get to the end, our winning team, we're giving them boulders, huge D20s. First place gets gold ones, and then silver, and then
are the D20s
like a bronze or copper version of those. Yeah,
this is table breaking D&D, and I do.
She does. My poor table. So those are, that's going to be it. We're going to do different maps every week. So different maps have different objectives, different scoring opportunities. So I know in our first 2 maps, one of them focuses not very heavily, but there's benefits to being able to use thieves tools and open chests that way. Whereas the second week is you get much more out of like investigation. So different characters and different types of characters, and damage is always useful, right? But movement is a bigger deal in the second one because there are walls. And being able to do things like teleport and stuff like that.
I have been telling people to build, I'm not here to influence, I know how this works. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do or not to do, but I've been heavily suggesting people build for utility from the beginning for things like this.
Versatility.
Yeah.
I mean, that there will be many different ways to score. So
exactly.
Every week we're going to do a different map. We might repeat them the second half of the season, depending on if people want to submit maps. So I'm gonna open that up
because we're also doing the dungeon builders.
So another side of this, we had a lot of requests to do it. It was sort of an offhanded idea, but I've designed 2. And I was like, I don't know how many of these I can come up with. And people were like, I got ideas. And we're like, great. I will outsource my GM work any opportunity I can. But we have a builder's cup. So people will design a 25 by 25, 5-foot square dungeon, arena, whatever it may be, with certain parameters. I'll review it. And then on a weekend, we'll play it all 6 matches. And the audience at the end will get to vote and decide which arena they like the most. And then we'll send that that dungeon builder probably a very fancy D20. Yeah.
Prizes.
A very big one. Something cool.
Who are you using for your boulder dice?
This is Norse Foundry, who have been our sponsors for a year actually.
Nice.
Like you get a discount code through our channel if you want. Not here to. Yeah. You can ask us about it later. I didn't know if we're allowed to talk about it here. But
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Here at Nerdarchy, we 100% support shilling.
Great. Well, in that case, if you're here and you want fancy dice and metal dice, there's a discount code REPRPG that is 15% off of any of those. So that is, we've had so many people who are like, I can afford metal dice now. You're welcome. Go get some. They're gorgeous. Yeah, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. They make that looks great. Remember, kids, it's bad luck to buy yourself opal dice, so buy them for your friends instead. Megan one of our players tried to buy herself opal dice and they rolled so badly for her. So she gave them to Cody and they roll great for him and they kill us all the time.
Nice. At least they didn't break. That's one of the issues with opals. Not necessarily opal dice. Yes, we see. I also have Norse Foundry dice. These are the aluminum aircraft dice, and all of them have the monarchy logo.
Yeah. Well, we are getting the goal is to get the so we've got an entry fee per team. And thank you I saw that in the chat, it was already being answered that yes, we are full for this season, but we'll be opening up season 2 relatively soon for applications because we had 200 applicants this time around, and that was a lot to go through. It was insane. So we'll open up season 2 shortly, but for season 1, for these we have a $25 per team, not per person, league entry fee that is covering getting the custom boulders printed with the logo for the event, with all those, and enough that every team member of those top winning teams gets one. It's not just have one dice for your MVP. No, it's all three of you have this gorgeous custom special thing. And that's all that entry fee covers. Everything else donation based is per the event and the game, and those are which is always going to be interesting to change. What happens every week is big donation came to this team, they're going to kill everyone next week.
200 rep or 200 applications, and how many players do you end up with?
36. 12 teams of 3.
It was supposed to be 8 teams of 3, and we had such trouble narrowing it down that Cody rewrote the league to make it 12.
Really didn't expect to have that many that much interest, which is super exciting. And that's also why we didn't extend this season. We kept it at 8 weeks. That gives us enough time to any kinks, which we hope we've gotten most of them out of the way, but it's the first time doing anything, so there will be issues happen. Of course.
Yeah. We've already had to change a couple rules on the fly, and our poor party members are like, wait, what changed? Oh no. Okay, I'll change this. We're like, sorry, it's fine.
Sorry.
You're doing great. We're making sure you know.
I mean, it's one of those things, and every GM knows it. You think you come up with all these great ideas, and then when 7 other, 36 other people are thinking about it, and they're like, hey, what about that? And you're like,
oh,
fuck, damn it. Okay. Yes. Yeah, there is that. But let's move past that for now. So that's 8 weeks. We're gonna have future leagues. We've had some people in the chat volunteer to run the minor leagues. Amateur leagues, things that aren't for streamers, that are more like you just need chat and voice. Because it was what we learned on our first weekend is that people without a solid tech setup to stream that have a video and can run where the map is going to be and all that sort of stuff, it's very frustrating for them and for the other players. Gameplay slows down, and it's very difficult as far as that goes. So we've had some people volunteer to run those like minor leagues, and I'm looking at running some tournaments. And then after we get through this first league, we'll probably take a couple of weeks off and then relaunch another league.
We'll breathe. We have MegaCon in August. We're getting married in September. There's a lot happening.
There's a lot.
We'll need at least a week off. But that's it. Just the one week, and then we're done.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
When are you getting married?
September 22nd.
Nice. Ours is we had a October wedding.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
But
we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time.
Listen, my brain is one. It's PvP and then MegaCon. Crap.
At some point in there, we need to plan the rest of the wedding.
Is that going to be your first con back?
Yes, that's going to be our first big con back. We do some small seller events with like local game stores and stuff. But we MegaCon was we did it 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and it was great.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2019. Yeah.
2019. Yes, we did it 2 years ago. It was great. We met a ton of our audience members, some cast members. It's a great just to be in that energy and around people that like and love it, and and helped us get a lot of confidence in the merchandise side of our business that keeps everything else running.
Well, because we took a risk and we went to a vendor space instead of Artist Alley, and boy, that was a good risk to take. We were right across from the ChessX booth, so we're like, it's just a D&D pocket here. Yeah, awesome. Let's just. It was great.
But after that, it was after that you were like, I can design 20 more pin designs,
and then we did the pin Kickstarter, and my brain broke. I design our merch, and so we have D&D pins. And stickers and stuff. And that one was so fun that I left it with so many new pin ideas that I went from, we have 10 pins to we have 30.
Yeah. She dove off the deep end of that one, but she landed with no splash. Perfectly done.
So tell me more about this merch. I imagine it's more generic then, because you guys are grabbing vendor space.
Well, so it is very D&D specific. So for instance, we have like the Hunter's Mark, which is going to be flipped in your thing. We have this as a pin and a sticker. We have this is going to mess with the thing. It's going to mess with it. I'm not going to grab the holographic one. Or like dungeon mom, like instead of dungeon master, we have but then we
would you
also
like me to grab the pins, babe?
Yes, I would. Okay. And then I also have the dungeon master stickers and stuff. We've got hats. Keep hearing MegaCon. No, MegaCon. We basically we got so much fun with the pins and the merch that we just kind of expanded after that MegaCon, and now it's actually one of the ways people can donate to the league. Is every team is going to have an affiliate code that matches their team. So if someone is buying merch from our site with their affiliate code, A, that person gets a discount, so they get to donate for cheaper. But B, that is directly related to in-game gold and in-game perks for the team that brought that in. There they are, pins, all enamel pins of all of the designs. So we've got them for every class, every one of the main classes and a couple of the specialty classes. Like we have an artificer one now. We don't have the mercer, we don't have like gunslinger yet or blood hunter, but we've had requests for those special ones. And just some fun, like non-D&D specific ones, even like Chaotic Adorable as an alignment, which is our most popular design to date. We've had to reprint it. Like it ran out. I went, that was unexpected. Cool. I've never had a merch run out before. What? So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And then the design on Cody's shirt is also one of our most popular pins. It's just the dragon it's an infinity dragon on the D20.
Yeah, that looks really cool. That caught my eye on the pen.
Thank you.
Aggressively bard sexual.
Yes, aggressively bard sexual is also one of the favorites. It was originally a t-shirt. I think he's trying to find the big pins, and I don't think they're down there. He's going to struggle. Yeah, I've realized. And is that Cody's version of Pinterest? Yes. But yeah, it's a good time, honestly, and it's been a lot of fun. Don't worry about them. Were you looking for the big one? Yeah.
I was looking for the failed.
Hold on. I have it.
You have it. Oh my Lord. That's why. Plot
these are
twist.
Great. These are great. Who does the design work?
So Kaitlin does the design work. She's been really getting amazing at it, and we get them printed through Wizard pins. So of course she has the whole giant thing. If she fails this investigation check too, I'm gonna laugh so hard. We rolled with advantage and just came up with nothing. You can unfortunately tell our house has become the business, and it is everywhere at the moment. So
are you guys kind of doing this stuff full time?
This is my full time. So
Nice.
running the channel, and yep. Did we fail?
It has run away. We're failing our investigation checks
We
all
are.
over the place. People can see them on our
Or-
website. It's fine.
Either that or a rogue has passed a bunch of their checks.
Dastardly rogues.
We did let a rogue into the house the other night.
We did.
Izzy, bring them back. It's
What are you
fine. They
doing?
can see them on our website.
Yeah, they're all on there.
You saw the original batch. It's okay. We're
Mhm.
professionals. What was the question? I apologize.
He asks if you you do the design work, and this is my full time. I do some other gig work and stuff. And Kaitlin has, besides being a best-selling author, is look at her get embarrassed. She does work at theme parks during the day. So yeah, we keep trying to do this more and more because we love doing it, and it's a joy to get to sit around and tell stories and help people have a little fantasy and excitement in their life.
I agree. Besides, works for suckers.
Exactly.
I agree. I fully agree. Oh, that's the goal. Is just I would like to please be my own boss. I would just like to do this all the time.
Although the only thing more for being suckers is being completely broke. So what are you gonna do?
Yes, correct. I'm gonna blame the pandemic for that one because again, we had no MegaCon last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I'm still trying to figure out the first con that's going to be the one I go to. It's probably going to be PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, PAX is great.
That one. Well, so that one's local for us. So if we feel like that one, we go to, and we're like, we feel morally obligated to go to this one.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
We may try to hit like Gods and Monsters, this little comic book shop and bar and store here that we love. Often invites us to have like a table set up and so it's not like a con, but it is a seller's event. And then I think there's like a small like
Hero
1 or 2 day hero hype or something like that. But definitely the first big actual like the tables cost more than $100 is going to be MegaCon. So we're really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's not too bad. Like, I think the first year for PAX Unplugged, I think that there's the table that we were supposed to be taking part was like 1,600 or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had to expand this year because of the merch so we are sharing a triple wide vendor space with one of our friends who does they do like scented candles that are like game themed and like D&D themed and one that matches my books, which is the coolest sentence ever. And so like we're splitting this space with them because we went vendor space went good for us. Boy, these tables are expensive. Would you all like to form an alliance with us? Yes, I would. And so we have, and we're just taking over a wall. This is our wall of nerd us.
Nice.
So we're excited about
that. The dungeon's dangerous. Don't go alone. You got to bring your party.
Exactly.
It's true.
And we've got a well-balanced party between that group of us, actually.
Yeah.
Do you guys play in any home games or games that aren't streamed?
Not at the moment. No.
We don't.
So before the pandemic, we had a very busy streaming schedule, and then it's been very hard to keep things up during that time, and we're coming out of it. But we do our best to anytime that member of the group or just our team in general has an idea for a game, we're on it. We've played Vampire the Masquerade. One of the games we're running right now is Malifaux or Through the Breach, which is a very cool like card flipping mechanic. And so we dig into that as much as we can. And we are here for people to watch us fail or succeed. So
we're kind of like stream light. Like we stream like right now we currently stream like one game. And then occasionally like me and Ted will appear in other games or whatever. But we're friends with a ton of streamers who often don't play any non-stream games. And and my Saturday morning game is like a bunch of those people that we just play. We started when the pandemic started. We're like, well, I guess we'll all have free time. So we started this like Saturday game. And it's like for a lot of them, it's their only unstreamed game. And they're like so glad they did it. So I kind of highly recommend it for for folks that do, especially that do a lot of streamers, like to figure out like one day where you can just like kind of like
Breathe.
let your hair down, take a breath, and just play where you don't have to be like on the whole time.
It feels like a trap.
But it's worth trying.
It is worth trying.
Yeah, I'm
Worth trying.
on
Thank you.
board for it. Yeah, thank you.
We should do that. Ugh.
Well, now that we can once we'll have people over, that'll be an exciting.
Well, and we can even now that we've learned how to utilize the Discord platforms and all those we can genuinely do hey, friends from all over, let's just have a fun one-shot day on Saturday morning cartoons, but streaming, or not streaming, but gaming.
Not streaming,
but gaming. See, it's just a automatic reaction.
Yeah. Well, no, because I know what it's like to feel like you're like, oh, because we used to do that where it's like, oh, if we're doing it, we should be turning it into content, right?
Yeah.
And there's definitely like that initial
guilt.
Yeah, like if you're doing it but you're not working.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're spending time on it, like, do you? I don't know, if you asked Van Gogh to paint your wall and it was just white, would you be disappointed?
Yeah,
like that. You know what I mean? Like it. I don't know. I definitely feel what you're saying, because there are times where I just sit down to play a video game and I'm like, I should turn the stream on.
I should turn on the button.
Why am I not doing the thing? Yeah. So like ours came about kind of like, I think we were like wrapping up a campaign and Ted had really gotten in the critical role.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we could totally do like those intros that they do. I'm like, yeah, but it would be the same crappy production we do. Like, because we got a webcam right on one side of our gaming table, and it's like this long view, and hey, we got like one mic set up in the middle. I'm like, yeah, but it would be like, why would you do that? And I was like, you know what? And then it got me thinking. I was like, well, what can we do to up the production?
Yeah.
And we really can. But like our streamed games initially, and they weren't even streamed, they were just pre-recorded, and then we put them up on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Was just us like, grabbing all of our friends that we normally play D&D with and go, and basically like you'd be holding them hostage, right? And go, hey, we're doing this thing and we're going to put it online. And like, they all agreed to it, but also like it's not what they signed up for, like in that particular instance.
Yeah.
So I was like, for us, it was like, what do we want to do? Do we want to take this to the next level? Just get people that we really want to stream with, or do we want to just keep having our home games and just keep it for us?
Mm-hmm.
And and that's like how we kind of went away from streaming. And then when we do stream, it's with intention, which is like completely different than what you guys have done. It sounds like anyway, right? But I feel like they're definitely two different things, because I've done both. Like you don't play a stream game for the most part the same way you do a home game. Like you're always aware there's an audience.
Yeah.
And like things like dead air and side conversations are like, very, very prominent. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
It is a different beast. And I'll say it's a different beast. There's a very special type of person or player that is built to stream an RPG, right? Because some players are great players. They're not really performers. They get anxious. They don't like having an audience. They don't make as many bold choices, or they overthink things, or it sort of shuts them down. There are performers that thrive in that environment, but don't relish the game aspect, and don't enjoy the tactics and the mechanics and digging into all of that. And it is a very narrow Venn diagram of people that excel at both and enjoy both and want to do both. And so there are plenty of times in games and nights where I see what you're saying, where it's like, if we were doing this just for ourselves as a home game,
would have been a great night.
probably would have gone great. Was it the best show we ever did? No. But what I find is the most exciting is usually every night, even on a bad night, there's a moment where the players, the GM, the story, where it all clicks, right? And there's this weird sort of electricity with RPGs, where people, when they tell the story later on, it's never Bob the Barbarian did this, right? It's I did this, you did this, we did this together. You fell down the chasm and died, but I was there to resurrect you. And even if it's just a stupid, like, I stole from the shopkeep and we all ran away, there's usually a moment of a sentence, 2 minutes of magic that makes it worth tuning in to try to find, to try to see.
And to be a part of. I've never
Yeah.
ever regretted, even when I'm tired, even when I'm stressed, I'm overworked, I'm whatever. I haven't had time to do makeup. I'm eating dinner at the table while we're trying to. I've never walked away from the stream and the show and the game regretting having sat down to play.
Yeah.
Because those moments always come up. There's always them, even when they're bad, even when you're stressed, even when everything is angry, even when you failed. As a storyteller and a part of that story, there is a kind of magic you can't replicate and you can't plan. Even if it is something so simple as the dice rolled in a way I never thought they would roll, and I lost and I failed and I thought I was going to win. Or there was no way I could have lost unless I rolled a 1 or a 2 and I rolled a 1. Or or alternatively, there was no way I could have succeeded unless I rolled a nat 20 and I rolled a nat 20. And you get those moments. And what's great is for Marcus, thank you. What's great is latching on to NPCs and making them our battle war cry the rest of the campaign, an accident that lives with all of us. We have found that even happens in the PvP. It is less roleplay, but it is still as intense and it is filled with those moments. It is nothing but those moments of, oh crap, I was dying and the audience donated to save me. I barely made it up in time. I got hit again. It is just that constant influx of, even when the audience isn't donating, you are fighting toward this goal and you live or die with the roll of the dice.
Of our what, 7 games we did in April, 5 of them came down to the last round.
If not the last turn.
And 3 of them came down to the last, 4 of them came down to the last roll of the dice.
Yeah.
And whether it was a death save or a hit or a spell save, like, and that kind of drama is amazing. But yeah, I agree. There are plenty of days where I'm like, do we really have to stream today? But once we start playing, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Why would I ever not do this? Why would I ever stop?
I think the perfect analogy, it's like going to the gym.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like there's many days you don't want to go, but once you've been there and you're done, you feel so much better for it.
Yes. Perfect analogy.
Because I saw it, may I quickly say to Brian Smith, we've actually gotten to play with a wrestler before. We got to play with D&D.
We did. Yeah.
And he was a nerd. He was a delight.
Oh yeah.
We loved him.
Yeah.
I adored that man and his disaster character.
Well, you know what are wrestlers but theater nerds in their underpants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, correct.
Got a gym membership and started jumping around. I'm on board. Yeah. It was a joy. Playing with Dio was absolute joy.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know many wrestlers. How did you connect with that?
One of our team members used to went to Full Sail, which is where they film NXT, and worked for WWE for a time, and was friends with Dio Madden. He had asked to run a game on our channel. Our friend Cole, who is now a sportscaster up in Washington.
Yes.
And I think he's on the game tonight, actually. And so he had. He's like, I want to run Storm King's Thunder. I was like, great, run it. And a few weeks into it, he's like, hey, think we could, I think I'd like to invite Dio Madden. I'm like, great, bring him in.
He said it in a way though that was like, okay, sure, invite Dio Madden. Oh, your friends. Yeah. Oh, you know.
Hi.
Real offer. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it was very cool. It was very, very cool.
He was really cool. Sorry. I jumped on your question asking and I just happened to see that.
No worries at all. So we were right about the hour mark. Final thoughts before we head out?
Guys, it's going to be pure absolute D&D chaos. Not I would like to hype up Cody, but I'm going to not do that for a minute. Instead, I'm going to hype up literally all of these teams because I am a fly on the wall in all of their character building conversations. And I can't tell you how much effort the teams are putting into this product.
Yeah.
If you watch for no other reason, watch for them. I have my favorites, and you all want to know who they are, and you won't yet. They are so dedicated and so passionate about this that it makes me emotional. They deserve all of your love, all of it.
Yeah,
all of it.
Absolutely. No, the teams are amazing. It's going to be super exciting.
Mhm.
I'm just grateful I get to watch. I'll make some judgment calls in the middle and do some announcing, but I'm here to just be fan number one. So
Nice. Thanks for coming on. It sounds like it's going to be a great time. Folks, in the description, you can find all the links. Go click and stalk these folks in the good way, not the creepy way, all over the internet. And until next time, stay nerdy.